California truly has an amazing amount of natural wonders all up and down the state. For me though, it doesn't get better than the stunning variety of waterfalls one can find throughout California. While this list is not necessarily the best waterfalls in the state, they are some of my personal favorites. Also, pretty much every waterfall on this list could be in Yosemite, but I'm only choosing a few so that it doesn't dominate the list. That being said, here are some of my favorite waterfalls starting in Southern California and heading to Northern California. First off, starting in San Diego, we have Three Sisters Falls. Three Sisters Falls is a cascading waterfall that's an extremely popular hike in the county and that's relatively tough and shouldn't be done when it's hot. When the falls are flowing though, they are very impressive and each of the three tiers are unique, with the top one being a traditional waterfall and the other two being long and almost rapids-like. I've only got a chance to do this hike once, but it was an awesome adventure and it's definitely one of my favorite waterfalls in California. Next up, Sturtevant Falls is one of the best waterfalls in the Los Angeles area. This waterfall is accessible by a 3.5-mile round-trip hike that takes you past historic cabins to a nice 60-foot waterfall. I've been there many times, and even though it's busy on the weekends, I still love returning and seeing it again. I would recommend going in the spring right after a good rainfall, as this is the best time to see this waterfall, and pretty much any waterfall on this list. Plus, you can extend the hike and see Hermit Falls, another waterfall, while you're there as well. There are lots of other great waterfalls in Southern California like Switzer Falls, Millard Falls, Eaton Canyon Falls, and Fish Creek Falls. But for this list, we're going to keep moving north. My next recommendation leaves Southern California and continues up the coast to Big Sur, and that's McWay Falls. This is one of California's most famous waterfalls as it's picturesque and it falls right on the beach. While you can only view it from afar, it's still a great waterfall to see in California, especially at sunset, and it requires almost no effort as the viewing platform is right near where you park. Do note this is another really busy one in the summer. Basically on the other side of California from McWay is my next recommendation, and that's Toccopa Falls. This waterfall in Sequoia National Park is 1,200 feet tall and it falls over many different cascades to get to the base. The trail is 4 miles round trip and it's beautiful as it follows the river the entire way. When you get close, you'll have a great view of the full cascade, and then as you continue on, you'll eventually make it to the base and the bottom of the falls. While it doesn't have the sheer drop you'll see from many of the other spots on this list, it's still pretty awesome. Almost directly north across the Sierras is my next recommendation, and that's Rainbow Falls. Rainbow Falls is located near Highway 395 in the town of Mammoth Lakes in Devil's Postpile National Monument. The National Monument is worth exploring on its own, and Rainbow Falls is one of the main draws there. This waterfall is about 100 feet tall and it's accessed by a 3-mile round-trip hike. It's called Rainbow Falls because of the rainbow that appears in the mist below the waterfall. Heading on, we enter Yosemite National Park for my first of 2 recommendations. First off, the Mist Trail is a popular trail in the park and it leads to both Vernal and Nevada Falls. The trail itself is incredible, but being able to see these 2 stunning waterfalls up close is icing on the cake. Plus, you can hike to the top of both of them so you can look down on the falls while you're there. It's a pretty tough hike if you don't do this type of thing often, so know that going in, but it's definitely worth it to see these amazing waterfalls. Next up, Yosemite Falls is right in the middle of Yosemite Valley, and it's one of the tallest waterfalls in North America with 3 tiers and a combined drop of over 2,400 feet. The waterfall is impressive to see from the park or from the base, which is an easy walk. However, if you really want to push yourself, you can hike to the top of the waterfall on a very difficult 8-mile round-trip hike. Do not underestimate this and don't do it without training, as it is really that tough. On the way up, you'll get some amazing views of the upper tier of the waterfall, and once you get to the top, you get to look down on the waterfall and all of Yosemite Valley, which is quite an accomplishment. The next waterfall recommendation has us going past San Francisco to Point Reyes National Seashore, and that's Alamir Falls. Alamir Falls is one of the longest hikes on this list, but it's worth the effort to see this beautiful waterfall that cascades right onto the beach. The official hike is 13 miles round trip, and you need to watch the tide schedule so you can actually make it out to the waterfall. Once you get there though, you'll be greeted with a waterfall like McWay Falls, but that you can see up close. It's easily one of my favorites in the state, and you'll see why if you ever visit. For the last two waterfalls, we're heading up north to the top of California. First up is McArthur-Burney Falls outside of Redding. I've been to McArthur-Burney Falls many times, yet I still love going back whenever I'm in the area. In terms of sheer beauty, I would put this waterfall up there with any of the waterfalls in Yosemite. The waterfall is over 100 feet tall, but the width is what makes it impressive. Plus, no matter the time of year, the waterfall always seems to be flowing pretty well. You can view it from the overlook, or you can walk down to the base on a half-mile trail. I doubt you'll be disappointed with a visit here. My last recommendation on my waterfall list is McCloud Falls. Near the town of Shasta, McCloud Falls is a collection of 3 waterfalls which are all incredibly different. For me, the second falls is my favorite, but they're all pretty unique and I enjoy seeing all of them when I visit. What I love about McCloud Falls is that it's a great snowshoe area in the winter as well, and you can actually snowshoe out to the falls if you want to see them. To me, this is an amazing experience that earns McCloud Falls a spot on this list, plus there's 3 distinct waterfalls you can see while you're there. So there you have it, my list of 11 waterfalls you should see in the state. I've visited over 50 waterfalls and you can see all of them on my blog, which I'll link to in the description. Let me know if I left off one of your favorites or if you want me to make more waterfall lists in the future, and we'll see you on the next video.